Hello, Holliston. I'm John Cronin. Welcome again to another episode of Just Thinking. This evening we're going to talk to a bunch of volunteers who are pulling together youth sports in Holliston. This is our second show on this topic. Our first show covered certain sports. Our second show is covering sports that typically fall in different seasons and so forth. We're going to cover a lot of the same ground, but I want to introduce you this evening to some of Holliston's finest volunteers who are bringing these sports programs to our youth. So joining us left to right today would be Melinda Lohan. Welcome.
Hi.
Melinda is
Thank you for having me.
Holliston Youth Soccer Association Director of Coaching Education. We have Lauren Vendetti. Hi, Lauren. How are you? She's the youth field hockey head coach. The next guy you've seen before, Jason Cooper, wears a lot of hats. Tonight you're going to be wearing the Holliston Youth Basketball Association hat. Welcome. And Brian McShane. Hello, Brian. Nice to see you. And Brian's going to be wearing the softball and baseball hat tonight. Is that right?
I'm going to go wrestling this time.
You're going to go just wrestling, all right. But you also have a lot of different hats, which is impressive.
Hey, if you got to talk softball, I can.
I'm all in. Well, again, thanks for joining us, folks. We met last week with a bunch of folks who were on different other sports youth programs. Insightful, and I think through the lens of a parent, for the most part, who might be looking at bringing their kids into the programs for the first time, or perhaps testing new programs they haven't seen before or tried before. It's important to hear from the leaders, the youth people who are putting these programs together, and how comfortable they can be entrusting their kids to those great sport opportunities. I told the folks beforehand we'll move left to right, right to left, so I'm going to start with you, Melinda. Good to see you again. Tell us a little bit about your organization. Is it school-sponsored? Where does it come from? How do people find the youth soccer experience?
So Holliston Youth Soccer is 100% volunteer-based. We have an executive board of 4 people and about 20 other board members who all volunteer their time between coaching and then also directing the different age groups. Everything is funded and supported through that organization. We're not associated with the schools, although we're supportive of the schools, but we run our organization independently. We also run Marshall Street Fields, which is also an independent part of our organization, not run by the town, funded by Holliston Youth Soccer. So it's a great opportunity for athletes and families to get together on the weekends and kick a ball around, or to go and have a nice experience in playing the game of soccer. Our organization runs kindergarten through 8th grade, and we have rec opportunities in kindergarten through grade 3, and then we start travel opportunities for kids to go out and play against other towns in the Bays League from 4th grade to 8th grade. So that's where we start evaluating athletes and placing them on different teams. But the experience is to have fun, right? To come out, love the game of soccer the way that the coaches and the volunteers do, and just support a game that we're really uniquely allowed to participate in, especially with the World Cup on the way.
Sounds great. All right, Lauren, a little bit about field hockey.
Yeah, sure. We are also run through the Holliston Parks and Rec. They help us with a lot of the logistics, but the program is run entirely by parents. It has been growing tremendously the last few years through increased parent involvement that we've gotten from some amazing volunteers. We have, our program is for kindergarten through 6th grade. We have opportunities for 7th and 8th grade. They typically will go in with our partner town, Medway, and play with them. But we run a program where we have a kindergarten clinic, and then travel opportunities from 1st and 2nd, 3rd and 4th, and 5th and 6th. And our program has just been growing year after year. We had over 65 kids in our fall program last year. And we also do a spring clinic specifically to encourage kids to try it, because field hockey isn't something they're necessarily going out and playing with their parents in the yard. Right. So we've had a lot of growth through the sport that way too.
Right. Jason, good evening. How are you?
Good. Thank you again.
Round 2.
Round 2, and thank you again for having us and highlighting all the youth sports in town. We really appreciate it, and also thank you to the folks behind the cameras.
Great people,
Great people, and it's been fun getting to know them, so thank you. So yeah, I'm Jason Cooper. I'm the president of Holliston Youth Basketball, and we are an independent nonprofit in town that offers a basketball program for grades K to 8. We have what we call a town ball program, which is a rec ball program, and then we also have a travel program. So our rec ball program starts in kindergarten. We have a kindergarten and 1st grade clinic for boys and girls, and like Melinda mentioned about soccer, very similar. I mean, it's all about having fun, especially at those grades. We want the kids to come out, pick up a basketball for the first time, end with a really fun relay. The parents love it, the kids love it, and it kind of gets the excitement going.
Right.
And then we get them to second grade, we have a 3-on-3 option for the second graders, and then once you get to third, we have a grade 3-4 rec ball program. When we get to fourth grade, we're part of the Metro West travel basketball program in the state of Massachusetts. So we offer travel basketball programming to boys and girls grades 4 to 8. There's tryouts, and you will ultimately be placed on a team. And this year we had 22 travel teams for boys and girls. We're actually at over 500 kids now in the program. So we've seen a lot of growth in the basketball world. So it's been good.
That's great. Brian, good evening. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Talk a little bit about the wrestling program here.
Absolutely, yeah. So a lot like these guys, town-based programs. So our K through 4 program is run through the recreation department. That's separated into 2 age groups. K through 2 is really focused on, again, like what these guys are saying, having fun out in the mat, learning the sport. Keeping it really casual, getting kids used to it, and just sort of, getting out there and having some fun. Our 3 through 4 team is separated, so they go, they both practice on Sunday down at NGMA through the recreation department. Our middle school team is 5 through 8, and that's all run through RAMS. So that's a school-based program. So in our recreation department, anyone can kind of join there. We have a couple people that come in from other towns, Hopkinton, Medway, that don't offer wrestling. So we can have that flexibility. School-based program, you have to be a member of the school, obviously, to take part in that. So as they go up through the program, they're learning more technique as they go. We don't have tryouts. It's all inclusive. Everybody makes the team. The only thing that we do is we cap at a number to about 30 people per session. But it's not ability capped. It's numbers based.
I see.
Yeah.
We're going to move back this way, but let me start with you.
Sure.
Some of you had touched on the time frame, but I just wanted to flesh that out a little bit. For parents listening at home, when do I have to think about enrolling my kid in wrestling, basketball, field hockey, soccer?
Sure.
What are the time frames of the seasons, if you will? Because some of them go multiple seasons, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So wrestling is a winter sport. The season starts right after Thanksgiving. So we're getting into it the first week of December, and it runs right to like the middle of February. Right about now is when the season ends. So it's about 2.5 months long. Registration from the rec department will come out a couple months prior to that. Same thing with the school. We'll start to generate some interest, get like the recurring folks, kids have done it before, and then get it out to mass emails of other people that we know that were interested in it. So registrations usually, I'd say August, September time frame is when people start to get involved with the program, and then the season itself.
So that's wrestling, boys and girls?
Yes.
Okay.
So one of the fastest growing sports in America, both at the collegiate level and the high school level, is girls wrestling. So we're super excited about not just developing the numbers from the boys standpoint, but the girls as well. We had some really great successes just this past weekend where 2 of our middle school wrestlers who are now high school wrestlers both were in the state finals for girls wrestling, Violet Paulney and Sky Rodenheiser. So
Programs starting to really
very exciting to see that. So we love to see the girls come out for the team too. Absolutely.
Great. Jason, when's the right time to look into youth basketball?
So we'll start with the travel program because it's a little longer season. Our registration for travel tryouts opens August 15th, and then we have tryouts around about the middle of September each year. And then the season begins the first week in November and runs through the beginning of March. On the town ball side, registration.
If I'm a parent and it starts in November and God, I missed it and it's now Christmas, can I still get my kid in?
Unfortunately, it becomes a little more difficult if teams are full and we don't have room, which does happen sometimes. Occasionally, though, we will have teams where we're still looking for players and we can take a later role.
So it's based on capacity?
Yes, absolutely.
I got you. Anything else?
And town ball, registration opens the beginning of October, and that we leave the registration really on a rolling basis, especially for the kindergarten and first grade. Those kids can join really any time, even halfway through the season. It's a more clinic-based and a laid-back atmosphere, and that runs through the middle of February.
Great. Lauren, when's the best time to enroll in field hockey?
So field hockey is a fall sport. Registration usually comes out around now in the spring for the fall time frame. The season goes from the end of...
Real quick, is registration like Brian's, is it going through rec or is it through
It
your
is through rec, yes,
Okay,
thank
go
you.
ahead.
Yes, it's through Parks and Rec. So Parks and Rec is kind of helping us run all of that type of stuff, and then us parents do the rest. So the season goes from the end of August through the beginning of November. And our season is one where we are in the Commonwealth League, and we play with towns throughout the Metro West and Central Mass area, really. And there's also, in the spring, we do offer a clinic-style month of opportunity where once a week we're meeting in a clinic basis so that kids of all ages can try and see if it's something they want to pick up and do in the fall.
We're going to get to equipment and costs in a minute, but it occurred to me thinking of field hockey, there's got to be some sports equipment involved, so think about that in a second.
Yeah.
Melinda, talk a little bit, well, I'm thinking soccer's year-round now.
Well,
it almost is, right?
It almost is, yeah.
so talk
I mean,
about
there's only 2 seasons for HISA, though. So in the fall and in the spring. Right now, we're gearing up for our spring season, and registration is open for the travel teams. They have already registered, and for our younger kids, there's still opportunities into March, like later March, for them to make their choices, especially like Jason said with the kindergartners and the first graders. The more kids we can get to participate, the better it's going to be. In the fall, that registration opens up usually in June or even earlier, sometimes in May, so that way they have an opportunity to prepare for evaluations because we have the travel season for the older athletes, and they'll play in the Bays League both seasons. They'll have 10 games, so 5 home, 5 away. And then in the rec league, they'll have more opportunities all in the Holliston fields throughout the August to November season, and then from spring, from April until June.
All right, so I'm a parent, and I get it. I got a lot of opportunities here. I have generally idea of what the schedule is. Maybe I have more than one kid. You know, I've got some kids interested in different things. The first thing I'm worried about is safety. How safe are the sports that these kids are about to engage in? Some parents may know, they may have played the sport. But generally, I'll start with you, Melinda. Give people a sense of what to expect from the youth perspective on the safety of kids. What do you do to ensure their safety? And coupled with that, do parents need to be concerned about maybe a physical or some type of check-in with the youth sports program, make sure that kids are eligible to play? So for example, is there a barrier to them, say, oh, I need to have a physical to play? I doubt it, but I want to check to see from a parent's perspective, what am I up against here from a safety perspective?
So I think with soccer, there's always concern at the older ages with heading, but all of the soccer associations have made an agreement not to head until they're at least in 7th grade. So we've taken away kind of that concern around concussions from the traditional just play of soccer. There's always conversations too around other types of injuries where we as an association have decided we're trying to include more injury prevention in our training. So we're following the FIFA 11 Plus, which was recently in a New York Times article, but it's something that we're adopting in our programs to try to make sure that our athletes are learning proper warm-up skills and proper cool-down skills to take care of their bodies, not just now, but as they grow as athletes. As far as safety, the kids, as long as they wear their equipment, if they're the safest they're going to be is in playing any sport and running around and kicking a ball. So they have shin guards, they have cleats for traction, and then goalies will wear gloves to protect their hands while they're in the net. But otherwise, as far as safety gear, according to the rules of soccer, they shouldn't be getting hit or harmed in any way that isn't in the form of a penalty. So, and our referees are excellent at calling their games and keeping the kids as safe as possible.
Safe to say a parent can think of that sport, youth soccer, as any skill level?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially in the younger age, we want as many kids playing as possible. And then when they get to the travel age, we place them on the team that fits their desire and passion for soccer. So if they're really competitive and really skilled, they'll be playing on one team. And if they're there more for just the passion and the joy of just playing soccer, they might be placed on a different team. So we try to meet the needs of all of our athletes.
Lauren?
Yeah.
What do we have in terms of safety and concerns from parents about playing field hockey?
Field hockey is a very safe sport, I would say, in regards to our...
Technically no contact?
Correct. It's Correct. Yeah, it's a non-contact sport from that perspective. The pushing and things like that are fouls. But yeah, I mean, as far as the equipment goes for that, I mean, shin guards, mouth guards. Our coaches are all trained, much like Melinda was saying, on different concussion protocols, and we are equipped through through Parks and Rec with all the things we would need for on-site situations that happen through any activity where you have a lot of children running around. But yeah, overall a great, safe sport. Yeah.
Okay, Jason.
Yeah, I think basketball probably has the least amount of equipment out of the sports on this panel tonight, but you know, it's very safe sport. At the same time, when you get to the travel level, you know, if there's pushing or shoving and things like that, fouls are called. But I think at that travel level, the certain amounts of aggressiveness does increase.
Sure.
So kids do have to learn to entertain that, never to a dangerous standpoint, but it almost gives them a sense of body control and going up against somebody and learning different moves to make. And then along with just basketball being a great cardiovascular sport of improving kids' health and getting out and running around.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, similar to what these guys have shared, I mean, all coaches are safe sport certified, so just to notice if anything has happened, what the proper technique is to handle that. Wrestling is a contact sport, obviously, but it's not a high-velocity impact sport. So it's really controlled. You're on a mat. So it's not an unsafe sport.
Does Parks and Rec require the parent to sign some kind of a disclaimer?
So for wrestling, Parks and Recs, no, but for middle school, through RAMs, or 5 through 8, you have to have a physical on file to play the sport.
Got it. You started to touch on coaching, and that's an area I wanted to go into a little bit. I would imagine it's similar, but maybe different, especially if it's volunteer-driven. Most parents are concerned about their kids' safety with other adults. Talk a little bit about the kind of coaches they're going to run into playing wrestling. We'll move to the left here.
Yeah.
You talked about a certification program, but in addition to being certified, they CORI'd. Do they understand basic first aid? Talk a little bit about how they're going to care for the kids beyond just teaching them the skill that sports require.
Yeah, so speaking for wrestling only, safe sport, concussion training, all of those things. CORI checked, obviously. We do have 3 EMTs through our coaching staff in the Holliston wrestling program, but that's not a requirement. It's just luck because we have a few firefighters that are on our coaching staff. As far as our coaching staff in general, we have a lot of crossover, so there's a lot of synergy between the high school varsity team all the way down through our youth team. Coach Strum, he's a teacher in the high school, and he's the varsity head coach. He also coaches in our K-2 program. We have a Holliston alumni, Brian Gary, who coaches in our middle school and in our youth program along with me, it's good, so the kids get to see both coaches. They kind of know who on each level. They've already experienced the coach before they get up there, so there's some familiarity there. But yeah, all of our coaches are trained and certified so to keep the kids safe, for sure.
Jason.
So for basketball, all the coaches are CORI'd. They have a required training to go through at the beginning of the season. And then we offer, we actually have this year we had over 100 coaches in the program, K-8. Wow. So there's a lot of folks to manage and directions to give, but this year we actually brought in some of the high school coaches to offer some in-person training clinics, and that was great. We got a lot of great feedback.
Might some of those coaches be below 18 years old, but athletic? I mean, that's a lot of coaches.
Yeah, most of the coaches are parents. I would say 99% of the coaches are parents. Occasionally, though, we actually do have a teenage volunteer who raised their hand and said, I played in the program, I'm in high school now, I'd love to come back and help out. So we do have a couple of those, which is always great to welcome them back.
Wow, great. All right. What about the coaches in field hockey?
Yeah, I would say I'm really proud of the coaches in the field hockey program. I think the last 4 or 5 years, that's why the program's exploded. We have seen a big increase in the numbers in the ages as the coaches have continued to go up because of the experiences, and we have coaches that were former, collegiate players. We have former professional coaches for field hockey that are helping out with first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and on top of all the additional training and whatnot they do go through, it's been probably the best part of this is the experience the kids are getting. We do also practice all together at the same site. So all the different levels, we all are practicing together. Each team has their own area, but what we find is the synergy and the energy has just made it such an enjoyable experience for the kids.
I think, but I don't know, as I hear, especially with Brian's coaching experience, that there's a lot of emphasis on, in your case, readiness, certification, the benefit of having EMTs and so forth. You probably don't have that, but if I'm a parent, I'm wondering, yeah, they get trained, as Jason said. Are they getting trained differently? Do they all get a standardized training from, I don't know, the Mass Association of Youth Sports Association on how to handle kids between these ages, including, safe hydration, basic EMT or medical care, things like that. Is there a standard, or is your training for your coaches different than Jason's? Any idea?
I know I coach football and wrestling. I know Safe Sport's the same for both, so I don't know.
Same.
I think it's the same
good.
across the board, and that's exactly what you just shared. It's about how to handle every situation from,
So I put my hand up and I said, "Hey, Brian, I'd like to coach field hockey." You say, "Great, you have to go through the SAFE program." What is that? Is it an online thing? Tell me a little bit about what that is.
Yeah, it's just a number. It's an online form. You get educated on each subject matter. There's things about how to handle, maybe a parent-child conflict, how to handle hydration, a kid's not nutrition the right way, noticing if someone's feeling depressed, or if they're, there's a million different things that you go through.
Okay.
Learn a lot about each individual discipline, and then test on the end to make sure that you pass it all.
Okay.
And only then are you certified.
Makes perfect sense.
Yep.
Same here?
Same here, yeah, same for Holliston Youth Soccer. We also use Safe Sport. We have a lot of training that happens, and like field hockey also, we have a lot of just really talented and passionate coaches who have played the game their entire lives, or maybe are newer to the game, but are hungry to learn more. So we also have coaching licenses that are available at the Massachusetts level, also at the national level, that we provide coaches the opportunity and pay for a lot of those coaches as well, so that they can get licensure and be able to move up if they are interested in that. It's also my role is to be helping out with coaches. I coach at the high school level, and I've been coaching for a long time, so using that information and my knowledge there. And then there's so many parents who just love the game, and we started a group called Panther Academy, which is for our second and third graders who are just really interested in soccer and want a little bit more training without necessarily playing club yet. And so that's all volunteer run as well. And we have coaching education through two organizations. The New England Revolution is coming in and helping train our coaches, as well as another organization called Next Steps.
That's great.
So we're reaching out beyond.
The next line is kind of dual. I'm a parent. I don't have all the money in the world, and I've got a lot of kids, and I want to know, how much is that going to cost for a fee, and what are you going to hit me for on equipment? So give me a sense of what the average parent might be looking at for cost for a kid to get into the soccer program, and then I'll go this way.
So cost would never prohibit an athlete from participating in the sport. We would always grant any sort of needs. We would make sure that they have proper equipment. We have lots of families who are willing to make donations, or just have outgrown some of their equipment and are able to donate it. Cleats, and kids grow so fast, so you go through them rather quickly, and people don't want them sitting in their homes. So there's usually lots there, and they're sometimes unused. But when it comes to equipment, we will have cleats, shin guards, and then you'll have a kit that you'll have to buy for your athletes. So at the travel level, it should last multiple seasons, a little over $100. And then at the rec level, like kindergarten through third grade, it's $30 for a reversible penny that they can wear from year to year. And doesn't matter what style it is, so we've got lots of families who pass it down or get it from neighbors. So we try to make it as cost effective as possible. And if the fee to play is too expensive, then we make sure that we work that out with the family privately.
How about you?
Similarly, we try to keep the costs down as best we can. For the fall, it's roughly around $100 for registration as a whole. We're really just trying to charge whatever will cover the costs for things like ref fees and field time. We actually partnered with Holliston Youth Soccer last year to get one of the Marshall Street fields for a practice day. And so that's where some of our costs went last year, which was fabulous and just helped tremendously grow the program. And then we also offer, because again, a lot of times a field hockey stick isn't something people have lying around. So we do offer, if someone wants to try it, we have plenty of sticks people can borrow for the season of all different sizes. Similarly, kids keep growing, so they take their old stick and donate it to the Parks and Rec. And then beyond that, it's similar to probably what every sport is. There's a cost for the uniform, but typically it's one time every couple years that you need to buy it.
Cost be?
I don't even remember. Maybe like $30.
Yeah, similar
Yeah, for like a shirt and short. Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha. Jason.
Yep.
So for basketball, for our Rec Pro Town Ball program, it's about a $100 registration fee depending on the grade, and then a $20 reversible jersey.
Right.
And we ask all players bring their own basketball also to practice in games. And then for the travel program, our registration this past season was $290 for the full season, which covers, it's actually a better deal than it sounds. It's about a 5-month season with 2 practices and a game a week. So it's a lot of basketball built into that.
Yep.
And then we have a travel uniform similar to the other sports, kind of like a kit where you get your jersey, shorts. Some kids will have a warm-up jersey also.
From my experience, the minute you get into the travel space, you're in a different world now. Now you're in.
Yep, yep.
As a parent thinking about the youth sports and entering into it, it's like I haven't been in this space, and I don't know what those costs are. They certainly seem reasonable. How about wrestling?
Wrestling's similar. There's not a lot of equipment with wrestling. The only thing that they need to have is wrestling shoes.
Okay.
And like,
Do you provide the headgear and all that?
Yes, at some point. The little guys don't need the headgear yet. There's not a lot of competition at that point. It's more just sort of learning the sport, having fun, and getting some technique, playing some games. But yeah, as you get older, you need a headgear. The registration fees, $175 for all the levels. But that includes everything. The uniform that they get, the younger kids wear fight shorts and shirts, but that's provided for them, and they return them at the end of the year. And then in middle school, you have the option of wearing this wrestling singlet or that uniform, but all of that stuff gets borrowed, really. So there's no additional cost for any uniform. And then we have a program where, like you were sharing with the soccer cleats getting outgrown, wrestling shoes, same thing, and there's not a lot of other use for wrestling shoes once they get too small. So we have people give those back all the time, and we cycle those back out to people who need them. So that works out really well. No one would ever not be able to wrestle for a cost.
Great. That's good news.
Yeah.
As we begin to wrap up, just a couple of things come to mind. First, I want to talk a little bit about good sports behavior on both sides. And I also want to get you ready to make a pitch to people who might be listening about how they can get in touch with your respective youth programs. So keep that in mind as we get to you. So I'll start with you, Brian. Please talk a little bit about what wrestling's doing to ensure parents, the youth that play the sports, all act like good sports. And that means showing their kids how to be good youth participants, to deal with both other participants, oppositions, coaches, referees. It's a thing that's in the news way too much.
Yeah.
And I'd like to hear specifically from each of you about what your youth program is doing to ensure everybody enjoys the opportunity without abusing it.
Yeah, sure. Great question. So wrestling is a tough sport on some level because you are out there by yourself, right? It's a team sport, but there's an individual component to it. So at a very young age, it's important for us to teach the kids really good sportsmanship and maturity on how to win with grace and lose with grace, right? So I think it starts on that level. But as far as the parents interacting and getting overzealous, if you will, we don't see a lot of that in the Holliston program. We're blessed with really great parents. We have a lot of our coaches are parents, and a lot of our coaches are friends with the parents and the rest of the team. So it's really just a big family, super supportive. But I think it starts with the kid on the mat and them understanding that losing is okay. They're going to compete and they can control their effort, but they can't always control their result.
When they sign their kid up, are they asked, Brian, to embrace good sportsmanship?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. That's part of their application,
Yep.
I would think?
Yep,
Okay.
absolutely.
Jason?
Yeah, so Holliston Youth Basketball, we try to make it all about the kids and the experience for the kids to have a positive experience, learn not just the game of basketball, but communicating, learn not just how to win, but more importantly, learn how to lose. And we really try to share that with our players and have our coaches emphasize that throughout the season. All our coaches are required to sign a code of conduct at the beginning of the season, and we do training at the beginning throughout the season on all those type items.
I think you mentioned last time zero tolerance for any kind of issue.
Yes,
right?
and zero tolerance across the board for any issues from parents, players, coaches. So we don't mess around with those type items.
You know, Lawrence, an unfortunate topic to talk about, but we have to. We read about it way too much. Similar in field hockey.
Yeah, so of course, everything starts with the kids, teaching them. That's why we're here. All of us, we're teaching them life skills, right? So the winning with grace, losing with grace, all of those things that happen. And sports is such a safe place to experience that in a high intensity type of way. We're very lucky in field hockey. We really have not had any experience with anything like that. Yeah. We joke it's because people on the sidelines have no idea what they're watching because most of them didn't play. They're learning it for the first time. They come and ask questions after. The kids love that, things like that. So it's a lot different than, there's not necessarily parents who are reliving their youth through their kids, so to speak. We don't have that experience. It's been delightful, and I think that's why it's grown so much.
But the parents similarly would acknowledge good sportsmanship.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Okay. We luckily have never had to really enforce something like that, but it's been of course it all starts with the kids, and I think the coaches basically demonstrating it and having the kids of course follow.
Yeah.
So.
Melinda, any difference in
I think
youth soccer?
Soccer's a little different because it's such a sport that so many people have played, especially when their kids enter into this sport. So sometimes there's a little bit more knowledge, unlike field hockey, where people feel like they can help call the game or maybe help out the referees in some way. But it's challenging because with all of the passion, and we have amazing parents who are so supportive. Like you look at our sidelines and they're just filled with families. We're parking up and down the street trying to get our families in to be able to watch their kids play. And the kids are passionate, and soccer is a growing sport around the world as well. So they see these professional athletes and their celebrations, and they try to model sometimes some of those things. And we talk about like the sportsmanship of, 1-0 game, maybe that's an exciting celebration, but when you're winning by 6, you probably shouldn't go to the middle of the field and have this excessive celebration. So we have the same kinds of conversations as the other sports of like how we model these things of winning and losing, and how we take both those. And it comes a lot from our coaches, how they control themselves on the sidelines and how they speak to the athletes. But also we have in soccer a RAP, it's called, and the Bays League has kind of taken it out of our hands as well, where there is a zero tolerance, and there are actually some very strict penalties also if you were to speak to a referee. You're actually not even allowed to address the referee.
Violate a code of conduct.
Exactly. So they have increased those sanctions, we'll call them. Yeah. And for athletes as well as coaches, and then also especially for the parents. They start every game with reading out a code of conduct. The kids walk across the field. They shake hands before the game begins rather than at the end of the game. And they kind of like promote that sportsmanship from the beginning. And it also reminds the parents that like we're just parents. We're here to have fun. We're here to watch our kids have fun, and let them enjoy, and let's just all enjoy the game of soccer. Thank
you. So folks, as we wrap up, I'm just going to address the folks listening. I want to first let folks know this is the second show of 2. The last show included 4 other presentations of youth sports here in Holliston. I'm most impressed by the volunteers that are bringing this opportunity forward to all our children in such a great way. We've learned a lot about the cycle, the scheduling, the safety, the cost, and certainly the sportsmanship that's involved to keep our kids safe and really enjoy a great opportunity. It's one of the best benefits of living in our town. So I want to thank each of our guests tonight for coming in. But before we leave, I want to give them each a chance to let you know how to get a hold of youth soccer. How's the best way to get a hold of you?
Well, the beauty is it's a community, right? So anyone that you reach out to who's involved in the program is being able to get that feedback back to any of the board members. But we do have a very accessible website that's just Holliston Soccer, a soccer association, and you'd be able to just type that right into Google and it'll come right up. And we'll have lots of access. All the emails are there and anybody that you'd need to reach out to. And they're very responsive.
Field hockey?
Yep, so through Parks and Rec, you can register for any of the programs we discussed. We also have a Facebook page. You can find us easily, Holliston Youth Field Hockey. Again, parent run. We try to keep it up to date as best we can. And again, just community. I think one of the things I love, and I appreciate you having us on for this, when I was a kid, there was no youth field hockey. That wasn't an option. And so it's been such a delight, and you can see the passion in everybody involved in the program with bringing this to our kids and giving them a chance to learn field hockey and embrace a sport that we all loved at a young age.
Great. Jason?
So for basketball registration, it's all done through hollistonbasketball.com. It's our own independent website, and registration can take place there. And I just want to add, if it's all right, for just a pitch to play all the other sports that are on our panel and last week's panel. There's a lot of youth parents out there right now that feel they need to have their kids specialize at 8 years old, 9 years old, in second, third, fourth grade in a specific sport. And I think I can speak for all the panelists here tonight that play multiple sports. There's no reason for an 8 or 9 year old to be specializing in a sport at that age. Avoid injuries.
The child will let you know where it goes, right?
Yeah, and
what I like, what I don't like.
Exactly. Gives kids a chance to try different sports. Don't overuse the same muscles or get burnt out by the time they're 12 years old. So try wrestling or field hockey or soccer. They're great sports.
Yeah, great pitch. Brian, how's the best way to get a hold of wrestling?
Absolutely. So K through 4 through the rec department, so you can go right to the recreation website and find wrestling on that. The middle school programs run through Rams, so it'd be on the Rams website, so for winter sports on that side. And just to kind of back up what Jason shared, I agree 100%. The individual specialized athlete right now, especially in a small town, it's tough with the numbers because you're trying to make sure you have a lot of kids participating. We have found so many kids that, whether I was coaching football or another sport or wrestling, that jump into a sport later on that always say, man, if I had just started this earlier, I would have had a better foundation. So our hope would be is to do other sports, play basketball, field hockey, soccer, baseball, play everything as a young kid, and you'll find what works out best for you. And kids who come onto the mat at a young age and start wrestling, it's funny to see how quickly they develop the skills and become really, really good at it, even in the middle school age, never mind in high school.
Right, it'd be a good sport.
Absolutely.
Because all of us coach all different sports.
Exactly.
Right. These aren't the only ones we could have represented. So we highly encourage that. I think in all the organizations, just knowing everybody on here, work together really well, where figuring out practice days and all that kind of stuff, so that kids can do multiple things.
Yeah. Not conflicting with the schedule, working, collaborating. It's all good.
Right.
You also learn a lot as an athlete, especially when you're playing sports that you're not necessarily the best at, right? I think a lot of times we go into specializing because it's a special talent that an athlete might have, and you learn so much more about yourself as an athlete and as a person. You go through some of the hard things, and then it makes it a little bit easier as you get older when you're not always the best at something or feeling like you have to be the best at something. It should just be fun.
It should be fun. I agree. Great way to end. Thank you all for joining me again. I really appreciate it. Holliston, again, find this information, get your kids involved, and make them be good sports at the end of the day. Thanks for joining me. Thank you very much. Good night.